with CBS 11 Sports. I'm Andy Adler here with Sir George Teague. Last time I called you Mr., you said it was too formal. George, it's great to see you.
Well, it's very nice to see you too. And no, sir. I'll go with the Mr. The sir is a little bit too.
Too much?
Yeah, it's
too
a little
royal?
too royal.
You don't like it?
That part. I'm not down with that part.
You don't like it? Listen, we missed you this past Sunday, but we're going to have you on Sunday, Cowboys game day, this coming Sunday. And we're going to talk about everything from, of course, the Bears. But before we get to the Bears, why don't do a quick recap with what we saw this past Sunday, because this was a great game, but in many respects, it was a gift from the Lions. Am I wrong, George?
Yeah, it was. And I want to say that I missed you guys too. I mean, I just miss being on the set and being able to sit here with you guys and talk about football and talk about Cowboys. But we did get a gift. The Lions had control of the game for a little while there, rushing the ball, getting down the goal line. Yeah, defense played lights out. But, man, it really made me worry a little bit about when we're really ready to go to the next level with our team.
No doubt about it. I mean, that first half, and it's the second time we've seen that in 2 consecutive games. We saw it with the Eagles, that slow start. And fortunately, because it was the Lions, they were able to come from behind and win it. Not the case with the Eagles. They can't do that with the Bears.
Well, no. I wanted to see a little bit more out of Dak. I know you didn't ask me that.
Let's get into it. I mean, listen, let's talk about Dak.
Yeah, so I know you're coming back off. You're trying to work out the rust. It's a great defense to go against, to try to shake off whatever you need to shake off. But I still felt like I needed to see a little bit more. Some of the throws, forcing the throws, I know he was just saying, he said he was anxious. He wanted to give himself an opportunity to make a play, show who he was and all that kind of stuff. But, man, throwing in the triple coverage is never a good idea. Don't do that regardless of how confident you are.
I mean, when you get the finger pointing, you know it's serious. No, listen, you're right about that. I mean, how much of it was a physical thing and how much of it was a mental thing?
I think it was mental. I think he was itching. You know, hearing the comments about how he was after the game was very, very interesting to me. I don't know if you got a chance to witness that, saying that Dak was yelling, making noises, whatever it was.
What I saw, and I was standing at the end of the hallway there, and what I saw was Dak running, ear to ear smile, and just beyond excited. I enjoyed seeing it because I know for the last 5 weeks prior, he had been sitting watching his team win from the sidelines, which I could only imagine how frustrating it is, and to see him sort of show that emotion to the umpteenth degree. But yeah, you didn't like seeing that.
Well, see, here's what happens that most people don't know with the adrenaline of players, the excitement that you have as a game. And we all, as kids, want to play football and do these kind of things and shine and be in the stadium and all that. But what you get, the rush that you get from being in front of 100,000 fans, playing on Sunday, primetime television, it does something to you inside that makes you just excited, nervous, and even lash out a little bit, I guess, in a way to where you need to show your emotions a little bit. And I'm sure you had that all wound up that, hey, I'm back, I'm healthy, I got past my leg, now I'm dealing with this hand, I get to go back here, and everyone's talking about Cooper Rush, and is he taking my spot, and blah, 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 blah,
sure,
blah.
Absolutely, yeah. And you can't blame him for any of that noise that's going on in his head, but yeah. So you're saying you have to be able to temper that.
You do, but I'm saying I'm not mad at what he did. I'm excited because it feels like he was more excited about getting out there. I know we're going to talk about Fields here in a little bit, but I watched him in the game, and his temperament was different. His body language was bad. The body language that Dak exemplified was good. I like that part. Now he just got to control that so he doesn't make mistakes in the game.
So you say it was it wasn't a physical issue. You think his thumb is good to go. You think he's ready to play. I agree with you. I would have liked to have seen more from Dak, no doubt about it. But at the same time, what we saw a lot was Micah Parsons. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I do believe that he is the toughest guy on the field. And I would say top 5 in the league. Would you agree, George?
No, I absolutely agree. The play they made on the screenplay where he redirected, came up, they tried to throw the ball behind him, he redirects and goes. You do work on those things, and you try to get your linebackers or linemen to be able to see what the screenplay is and be able to retrace. But the speed and the velocity and everything, when you're that talented, so a lot of people will say, man, that guy's lucky. He's not lucky. He's talented. He's calculated. He knows exactly what's happening. He downed him on the half-yard line because of his effort. You know, it wouldn't have happened with someone else. This guy is a beast. He's got to be up for, you know, some type of MVP award this year. I know it's all going to be based on numbers and how many sacks and stuff he's getting, but he's one of the best players in the National Football League.
Totally agree, and it's talent. It's also the work ethic. I think it's the whole combination with Micah. It's funny, hosting the post-game show with Bill Jones, we're talking, and we're talking to Sam Williams, which I want to get your thoughts about. But then suddenly Micah comes into the shot, and his, you know, he was just enjoying that moment a little bit, and to see the interaction between them. And Sam Williams, you know, he had said prior that this was the guy he looks up to, and for good reasons. What did you see from Sam Williams, and when are we going to see that he actually gets more opportunities to do what we saw this last pass game?
I think it's going to continue to develop for Sam Williams just because of the timing. When you come in as a rookie, they're always trying to figure out, yeah, he was drafted, he goes in, he knows what kind of plays, but the adjustment from college to the pros is still different. So he, you know, we're not even quite halfway through yet. You get in the game 12 or something, you're going to see a different Sam. When you try to put both of these two together on the field at the same time, wreaking havoc, oh my gosh, I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited.
I am too. And Sam Williams is someone who I enjoy watching because he does play with that excitement. One of the things that he said, he says he manifests these things that he and Kavonte Turpin are in the car, and they talk beforehand, and they're driving over to the game, and they're discussing sort of like what's going to go down and how they see it. And he said he's manifesting this. He's envisioning what's happening, and I think that in some ways it's translating to results. We saw that this past Sunday.
Andy, you know what we have on our defense?
Tell me.
Some dogs, DAWGS, those kind of dogs. And when you put Sam in there, and I mean, the linebacker crew, the secondary, they're fierce, they're hitting, they're coming after it, and that's where they're winning games. I'm going to keep saying this because I'm going to get you to remember it.
Okay.
Win on D, count on me. That's what keeps happening every single week.
Win on D, count on
me.
I like that. I mean, it's in my head. You said it before. It's already in my head. I like it. I think you give it a little extra something when you say it. I mean, I don't know if I can give it the same. We discussed this prior game. We talked about this past Sunday. Now we got to talk about what's coming up, and that's the Bears. I know you're watching Monday's game. I know that you have a lot of thoughts on this, but before we get to those thoughts, I got to ask you, as a player, were you watching those Monday Night Football games when your opponent was going to be playing in those coming up until the next Sunday?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like game footage without. It's yeah.
As long as they got us out of the complex on time and we didn't have to stay there too late or something of that nature. But yeah, Monday night is always something that you want to see. You know, the only game on. I know sometimes we're showing two every now and again or whatever. But it's like the highlight. So many games on Sunday. You try to reach for Sunday night, and then Monday night is like, man, I got to see it. Regardless if we were playing them or not, it was just really fun to watch Monday Night Football games.
You know, I don't think the Patriots saw the Bears coming, and I think the key right here is that the Cowboys have to be prepared for what is about to come. So we start with Justin Fields. Your thoughts, George?
So the little bit of information I have about Justin Fields, and I do know some people that are pretty close to the organization, the Bears I'm talking about, and talking about him. And we heard some of it on TV about how tough he is. I mean, he's getting hit on, he's getting well on, he's running the ball, but he keeps getting up and he keeps going. After a while, you think a quarterback's going to break down, but not him. I mean, he's running the ball 3rd and 15, 3rd and 16, making things happen. He did something different that you hadn't really seen, and that was being able to throw the ball pretty well. Stats weren't.
They don't tell the story.
They don't tell the whole story.
Yeah.
But the completions that he's made, moving to the left, throwing the ball back to the middle of the field, I mean, these were high quality balls that he was throwing. And for him to put them on. He put the team on his back, rushing the ball 12 times, 80-something yards, whatever it was, and throwing the ball that he did. He said, we're going to win this thing. And that scares me coming into this Sunday with the Cowboys.
No, and then, of course, there's Montgomery.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh. I've never heard you do it. Oh, my gosh. Like, that's yeah.
Well, okay, so before all of this, I was looking at Justin Fields as the guy that we were going to have to stop without watching any of the film yet and doing all the stuff. And you know they got David Montgomery, and he is a tremendous runner. He's in between tackles. He's physical. I got nervous when Khalil Herbert got into the game, went and scored, because he is very explosive. So that's a three-headed monster that we got to worry about. And with our run game kind of being the weakness of our defense, as strong as we are, giving up 120 yards a game on defense, now you got three guys that can run the ball. Man, it makes it very, very scary.
No doubt about it. And the Cowboys do make some moves today, bringing in Jonathan Hawkins. And, you know, how much of an actual impact is that going to leave on the team?
I think that's a smart move by the Jones family or Will McClay, because his strengths are about stopping the run.
Right.
And that's our difference. Our secondary's been good. We got a tremendous pass rush. So anything that we can do to help shore that up on the inside, because it's ironic that it happened right after this game, too.
Sure.
They were watching this game just like I was, going, uh-oh.
Right. I mean, this is a statement in some regards. Is it a statement more about the Bears, or is it more about the Cowboys?
That is an excellent question. I'm going to say it's about the Cowboys, actually. But I like it that we actually made the move. All offseason, we talked about what they didn't do.
Sure.
What don't go get a wide receiver, or don't address the needs that we need to have on the offensive line, or whatever it was. In this case, Monday night, they see this rushing attack coming, the things I just talked about. And then today, Tuesday, they go and try to fill a need, right? And I think they went on the trade a little bit. He's a little older. He's 30 years old. But, you know,
Six-round
you
pick,
give up a sixth-round pick, but you gain a seventh. I mean, they did a really good job with trying to do this, to try to shore this up. And if you can help seal the middle, because we got too much speed. Running laterally, that's going to be hard to do on us. If we can plug up that middle, it makes it easier for Dan Quinn to be able to scheme to protect the interior of our line, our defensive line, and the linebackers when you have some people that can plug the run.
So do you think that the Cowboys can control the Bears? Do you think this is something that do you think they can win this game?
I do, because they're still going to end up being one-dimensional, the Bears, for the majority of it. I don't expect him to throw a whole lot of balls on us. So what you pack it all in, you get your guys going, and you know you got to have be alert for play actions and things of that nature. And the first thing is always going to happen. I know I'm getting way ahead of my keys to winning the game, but the first thing is you're going to have to be able to stop the design quarterback run from Fields. And then, you know, you got Montgomery's going to get his. Khalil, maybe. I don't know. But
although
we gotta
he did get a oh my gosh from you. So like, I feel like that's like, I think that's just, oh my, yeah. And the three-headed monster, it's something that you just cannot sleep on at this point. And the Cowboys, they almost got a little taste of what could happen by watching on Monday.
Well, it's going to be really, really interesting to see, because we're not the same team, but the philosophy is still kind of the same. Run the ball a lot. You know, how many times is Zeke touching the ball? How many times is Pollard touching the ball? Setting up the play action. How do you make Dak feel comfortable, you know, with being able to take the shot? So this is going to be a very good chess match. I know we're talking about the chess and the checkers
I like
and all this kind of
you know
stuff.
I enjoy the chess aspect of this game, and I think there's a lot of chess players in the Cowboys locker room. I think that they do see things that way. I think in some ways, you know, Dak is an intelligent human being.
Yes, he is.
I respect, you know, when he speaks, he says something. Similar to yourself, you know, it's easy to just say words. What he says means a lot. I think he is someone who, then you talk about the fact that they need to make him feel comfortable. At this point in the game, does anyone need to make their quarterback feel comfortable? Because I don't think like anyone's trying to make Fields feel comfortable, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And, you know, speaking of Dak and where he is, I think when you sit on the sideline for 4 or 5 games, I sat on the sideline for like 9 when I broke my foot. It is the hardest thing to do, and you kind of lose your leadership stuff. I was a free safety, quarterback of the defense, making calls, you know, and then you got to get back in the groove. Do people still hear your voice the same way? Are they really feeling what you're saying? So Dak had to kind of reestablish himself a little bit, right? Fields, he is still trying to find that mold. I know he's a high draft pick, but he hasn't had the success until this game. So does that elevate him a little bit this week, Sunday at noon? Man, I don't know. I'm hoping that at 10:30 on Sunday when we're doing our Cowboys game day that I got something different to say about that. But, man, it's Dan Quinn, I'm coming at you again. And Kellen Moore, let's make it happen, and let's figure out a way to score on these guys.
You know, I know a lot of people watch this looking for before they place their bets. Do you want to give everyone a little something, a little prediction here? I know we do it on Cowboys game day, but do you have a prediction for this Sunday, Cowboys taking on the Bears?
I still think we win the game.
Okay.
And I do think that it's a lower scoring game still. But I don't even know what the spread is. I didn't even look at it.
And that changes on the, so.
But I'm going on a limb and say that we're going to win by 6 points, that we end up winning the deal. That's going to be a lower scoring game, 20-14, something like that.
Okay.
To win the game.
I mean, we're only touching the surface here because we're really going to get into it on Cowboys game day. That's Sunday at 10:30 with Coach.
All right. I'm good with that.
Right?
I'm good with that.
George Teague. I feel like that feels about right.
That's good.
George, it's always good to see you. I will see you Sunday morning. We will see you Sunday morning. Thanks for taking a time out with CBS 11 Sports. I'm Andy Adler. George Teague. We'll see you next time.